Hey everybody, this is Marcel Irnie Racing News. I have a sweet cartoon to show you that was produced in 1948 from the Extension Department of the Harding College to create a deeper understanding of what has made America the finest place in the world to live. That's not the point, because who knows? I don't think it's the finest place in the earth to live. And the point is that it transcribes, it parallels what's happening today with essentially communist Canada, the fascism, the totalitarianism, and essentially it's illegal to strike. You know, they're offering all these workers, you know, we're going to give you a little money for your land because we got these emissions coming in, or a false flag on this, a false flag on that, narrative. So with further ado, let's take a look, guys, and I'll give you some commentary along the way. In Technicolor. Thank you, John.
America is many things to many people. To a 17-year-old kid, it's the malt shop on the corner. To Grandpa, it's the front porch in the cool of the evening. To Mother and her family, it's church on Sunday morning. And to Dad, it's his favorite relaxation. It's the Cracker Barrel philosophers in Crabtree Corners. And it's the tycoons in Wall Street. It's all races, creeds, and religions. It's freedom to work at the job you like. Freedom of speech and to peaceably assemble.
Freedom of speech, guys, absolutely. This video is on CensorTube, and I keep running into people all the time, and they don't understand that YouTube and all these platforms, Facebook, etc., are such censored. And all I have to do is, hey, go read the terms and conditions, go read their clauses, go read the medical misinformation clause, go read the hate speech clause, and then I can't even mention the what's going on in those two countries that people run flags. The blue and the yellow, and then, you know, with the big country. I can't even say these things because then the channel could just be hunted down by these bots and people they hire to, and I've lost the channel for this. Anyways, let's continue on.
Freedom to own property. Security from unlawful search or seizure.
Where's your warrant, Flatfoot?
The right to a speedy and public trial. Protection against cruel punishments and excessive fines. The right to vote. And to worship God in your own way. It is these freedoms that have made America strong.
Okay, so we got our freedom. But management's lousing up everything.
Labor is at fault. It's ruining the country. My constituents, as your elected representative, I can assure you Labor's right, management's right. I'm strictly neutral.
Labor, management, politicians, fooey. They can't tell corn from oats.
Work!
Hurry, step right up, folks. Here's the answer to your problems. Dr. Utopia's sensational new discovery, ISM.
We interrupt this program with a commercial break, hanging out with Coco, the kitty that was on the pool cover. Coco, you're too fat to be on the pool cover. What are you doing, Coco? Get off the pool. Hey, no. Hey, get off of there. I actually got a copyright on this section of the video for somebody who put it in his song. And I don't want to go through the dispute process because it's fair use, because you don't want YouTube looking at you at all. So we're just taking a little commercial break with the kitty here. What do you think ISM stands for?
ISM will cure any ailment of the body politic. It's terrific. It's tremendous.
It's like communism, fascism, There's the ism at the end. Maybe that's what it's about.
Once you swallow the contents of this bottle, you'll have the bountiful benefit of higher wages, shorter hours, and security.
Okay, guys. Again, now it's just like 10 seconds of the video.
Swallow the contents of this bottle.
It's just the audio from the 1948 film. Monetize it and Believe Music, Stomp Records. But first, a word from our sponsors. It says it's, you know, I'd have to dispute it, and then it's like it's not one of those. It's fair use, etc. And you go through this process, but this is what it is. Look, this guy rules topic right here. See, he's just in this. It's like a song of nothing. He just used the audio, and now for some reason this YouTube thinks he owns it. It's ridiculous.
Enormous profits, no strikes. Remember, you're the big boss.
Remember, you're the big boss, kitty. Boss kitty. Yeah. More profits, no strikes, best wages ever.
Government control, no worry about votes. Name your own salary. Bigger crops, lower costs. Why, ISM even makes the weather perfect every day. And now then, because we are introducing this amazing item for the first...
Makes the weather perfect every day. It's funny that this video from 1948 is kind of getting some pre-notions about what is actually going on in our skies today. Anyways.
Introducing this amazing item for the first time in this country, it isn't going to cost you 1 cent. All you have to do is sign this little scrap of paper, and you get your bottle absolutely free.
I hereby turn over to ISM Incorporated everything I have, including my freedom and the freedom of my children and my children's children, in return for which said ISM promises to take care of me forever.
Pardon me.
And who are you, my good man?
I'm John Q. Public.
Ah, my fine friend, you're just in time to share this generous and gigantic offer. Sign right here.
Mind if I read it first?
Hurry up,
Keep your shirts on, boys.
You know, including my freedom. Freedom? Well, sign away my freedom. Why, this is ridiculous.
Don't be corny, brother.
Sure, our system of free enterprise isn't perfect.
Sign away your freedom. Just in the news was Biden bolstering about killing the latest Al-Qaeda or whatever from Afghanistan, the Bin Laden's new the follow-up. And it's still so funny that these Bidens, these Democrats, they think they can just continue this lie. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, just one thing you have to do. Tell me what happened with Building 7. What about Building 7? 2 towers and Building 7. 4 or 5 blocks down the way, completely down to rubble. And it was demolished. Exactly how these were demolished. Number 2 is understand this American Society for Testing of Materials, ASTM. Excuse me. All the bolts are ASTM rated to a certain grade to withstand a certain temperature, to withstand a certain breaking point, crushing point. The steel in all skyscrapers and all buildings is ASTM rated to withstand certain temperatures. And I can tell you those temperatures are well above what any jet fuel would ever burn at. The steel, you could have an entire skyscraper up in flames from jet fuel and all the fuels you could throw at it, and that steel structure will still stand. And there's many accounts for buildings completely in fire where the steel structure stands. Those 2 points alone should put you in the right direction of false flags. What is a false flag? A reason for you guys to give up your rights to go to war So what happened from that false flag? The Patriot Act, the Homeland Security Act. You guys signed away your freedoms, part of them at those very moment, for the protection of the government. The government doesn't know you. They doesn't know you personally. You can only protect your friends and family and people you care about and people you know and be a good citizen and protect the community. The government is not a good citizen. The government doesn't even live in your land. The government is a corporation. It is a politician. Anyways, let's continue.
But before we throw it away for some imported double talk, let's turn the clock back a few years to see what it's done for us. For example, back in the 1890s, Joe Dokes was just a guy who liked to tinker around his barn. Some people thought Joe was lazy. Some even thought he was nuts. But one day, he had an idea. And because he was free to dream his dream and tinker, Joe had a chance to make something of himself and his idea. So, of course, some people didn't think so much of Joe's idea. But that didn't stop him. So Joe got some money from young Aunt Minnie and Uncle Angus and Grandpappy and Mr. Titus. When Joe's friends and relatives used their savings to help him buy tools and property, they were capitalists. Don't blush, folks. It's nothing to be ashamed of. Now, naturally, Joe needed some help. So he hired Willie Lumpkin, who was out of work anyway, and before long, Willie had the know-how and became skilled labor. Because...
Another pause. The highest unemployment rate is going on right now in the USA. Biden, Trudeau, they're doing wonders for the people. And then when you have the Democrats trying to get reelected, what are they running on? It's like, what are their accomplishments, and what are their goals? And you know what they say? Their goals are, oh, I want to support the climate emergency. Well, what about the unemployment? What about inflation? And inflation is number one on people's minds. People can't go to the parks right now to go camping. The campgrounds are like half empty all over the USA because people can't afford it now because your money has become half of the value that it once was. Food, fuel, people cannot afford it unless you're rich, and it's like, oh, it doesn't make a dent into me at all because I already have $50 million or $10 million in the bank and I'm making $1 million a year. Like Biden's son, getting paid $50,000 a month. Let's continue.
As capital, management, and labor worked together, Joe's idea grew. It grew and did things even he never dreamed of. Today, the automobile industry provides millions of jobs that never existed before. And remember, this is a story of only one industry. There are thousands more scattered all over the United States whose history of development is pretty much the same. We've built a country under the American system that sends more young people to high school and college than all the rest of the world combined. Why, even in the Depression, our wages bought more food, clothing, travel, and entertainment than the wages of any other people in the world. Our country has a national income equal to the total national incomes of any other 6 nations in the world. With only 7% of the Earth's people, we drive 70% of the world's automobiles. That's just a sample of the things the capitalistic system has given us in only 160 years. Before signing up, you boys ought to try a little taste of Dr. Ism's formula to see what you'd get in exchange for your freedom. Go ahead, try it.
Another good point is we have tried We have taken a taste of this fascist globalism. These guys trying to run the world who are not elected. This is imperialism if you really break it down. And what do we have? Crazy inflation, can't afford anything. We got everybody is in protest around the world. The farmers are protesting so they don't lose their land and don't lose their livelihood, and we don't lose our food. The semi-truck drivers did a huge thing in Canada, the truck drivers. People are being arrested. There's so much footage. Go to my Rumble and see in Australia, the police are just beating and attacking people. Even plainclothes officers sneak up and grab people. People are being lynched. People are being grabbed, stolen by the government. And so we're getting a great taste of wonderful globalist fascists right now trying to control all our countries of the world.
You can't do this to me! I'll strike!
The state forbids strikes.
Wait till the union hears about this!
Ah, yes, the union. Welcome to our ranks, number 1313.
I'll take this case to the Supreme Court.
Just like the ArriveCan app, you are a number, you are a digital app, you're a digital imprint in their system, guys. You have joined the government's union when you joined up on ArriveCan in Canada.
The state is the Supreme Court. Our decision is as follows. No more private property. No more you.
This is the judges in Canada, guys. A lot of them are these old guys who should be retired. What are we having 75, 80-year-old judges still doing? Why are they still making decisions? These guys are freaking lunatics, old men that cannot, just like Biden, they are not the future. They don't know anything about what is happening. They are stuck in a little world of like, can you bring me my tea? Seriously, I don't even know what to say on that, but we don't need 85 and 80-year-old and 75-year-olds running our countries, making decisions for us.
The farm vote will put a stop to this.
Farmers don't vote anymore.
What'll I do for seed next year?
You won't have to worry about next year. The state will do your planning from now on.
Bam! The farmers' protest going on right now in the Netherlands. It is not in the news. People in Australia, England, I've talked to them all and they're like, I have never seen any news on this on their TV. The news is not talking and is not showing the protesting. Protesting is actually illegal in Canada to a certain degree now. Man, just the new bills being passed, it is insane what they're doing. They're going to be censoring the internet. If they're just trying to figure out their new app to do it, essentially, and their new algorithm. The farmers, guys, they are trying to take their land and they will take over this process. And there's so much information that's coming down, like we're going to be eating bugs for protein because the government doesn't. It's just like we're at the back of the train.
We must fight to regain our freedom, or everything is lost. Everything.
Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Everything is fine.
That's like everybody in the COVID camps. There's these camps in Australia. There's new prisons being made in Washington. They're already done. I saw this freaking a year ago.
When anybody preaches disunity, tries to pit one of us against the other through class warfare, race hatred, or religious...
Pit one of us against each other. That's exactly what they're doing. Is segregation and we all... civil war, essentially, on their... And then they can do everything in the background while we're all fighting each other.
...intolerance. You know that person seeks to rob us of our freedom.
Race hatred. I tell you guys, racism it's a propaganda. Think about it. It's like the word racism, it has been created for hate. Think about it. But the word alone is used for propaganda, and we have the Trudeaus calling the citizens, the freedom fighters, racist, when really Trudeau is the racist.
And destroy our very lives. And we know what to do about it.
And now, gentlemen, no violence, please. And don't throw those bottles. Don't throw those bottles. No! Oh, no! No! Hey! Oh, hey!
Working together to...
What I mean by that is creating words like racism, communism. It's like the anti-vax. That is another term, just the same. Now it's this big term. They prop it, the anti-vax, the anti-mandate. And now they are like, you know, whatever, it's racism or whatever you can call it. It's like they're calling us these names to segregate us, to make civil war between the unvaxxed and the vaxxed. This is all exactly the same. It's just word warfare, guys.
to produce an ever greater abundance of material and spiritual values for all. That is the secret of American prosperity.
Okay, guys. Anyways, great, cool cartoon from 1948. I had to give, obviously, this commentary so I don't have a copyright on this film. Hope I didn't ruin the film for you guys. This is Irnieracing News. Cheers.
Just as a, somebody who's raised a middle-class kid. 1 year, even though you didn't have the job you have now, even though you didn't get a raise that year, the difference between having a job, having a 5% raise or whatever, 3, 5, 7, whatever it happens to be, in the face of inflation, the price of the pump, although that's down every day so far, but, it's like, whoa, I feel worse off. But then again, I didn't get a check for $8,000 from the government. They just, among other things. Does that make any sense to anybody, or is it just me?